When I awoke, I saw nothing but devastation around me. The sanctum, the only home I'd ever known, burned to cinders. I forced myself up the ash-strewn path to the altar. The empty altar. The transcendent of life was gone. Still gone. And I had nothing left but prayer. A prayer to the only God I'd ever believed in. Please, take my life. Restore the sanctum to its former glory. With those words, my body gave out its last breath. This is Sefirot, the sanctum of the transcendent of life. It was once a vibrant place where nature flourished, but, well, those were better days. Some pilgrims still make the long journey. Most come chasing a desperate hope, pleading for the transcendent of life to dry their tears. Even though the transcendent is long gone.
Answer me, damn you! Why is the altar locked? You said I could meet the transcendent of life there!
The records claim that, not I. But they were old, before our grandparents were born. The transcendent hasn't manifested here since... who knows when.
Isn't this the sanctum of life? Where could the transcendent be, if not here?
I wish I knew.
You're a monk. How could you lose your own god?
I am no monk. I'm merely a gardener, tending to the...
I didn't come here to see some gardener. Where are the monks? Where are they? Do you know how hard it was to get here? My daughter is dying. What happens when she runs out of time? Are you going to take responsibility for that?
I never told you the transcendent was here. And being cross with me isn't going to help you or your daughter. Please, this place is sacred. Go back to her. Be together while you can.
What did you say? How dare you!
Don't touch the flowers!
Ha! What? These ugly little weeds?
No, don't! Don't hurt them!
Now you care! For flowers. Are you out of your mind?
These aren't ordinary flowers! The monks promised me that so long as they bloom, the transcendent of life will return.
Gardener, did I hear you correctly? The transcendent of life will return? Do you mean to say that they are not present now?
Oh no. Are those Flora?
I think so. Those are pointy ears sticking out of their fancy cloaks.
We'd better back off. We don't want to get mixed up in their business.
But my daughter...
The transcendent of life isn't here anyway. Come on. We'll find another way. Somehow.
Damn it!
Flora, to be so high and mighty that all other beasts turn tail at the sight of you. I'm not sure how much you overheard, but the Transcendent is not in Sefirot.
The Transcendent's altar, where the god of life holds court.
Yes, but its doors are shut now.
Then we should begin our search there. There may be signs.
Seems the prudent thing to do.
Such beautiful flowers. Have you been here long? There's something I'd like to ask you.
Please don't touch. The plants in the sanctum are very, very fragile. And if your question is about the Transcendent, honestly, you may well know more than I do. I'm only a gardener.
Precisely. You're just the person I was hoping to meet. This garden is unlike any place I've ever seen. Its beauty was clear, even at a great distance. Do you care for all these flowers on your own?
Yes, they were entrusted to me.
Astounding. You've done well.
That's kind of you to say. But you have no conception of how this sanctum has diminished. An entire order of monks once cared for these grounds together. It was a living, breathing place. Funny. Most pilgrims head straight for the altar, without ever noticing the garden. What's your name?
My name? Well, what's in a name? You may call me Aaron, and you are... Ah, but I'm not here to meet the Transcendent. Oh, for many reasons. What about you? Are you longing for the Transcendent as well? Is that why you tend to the garden?
This is what we pushed through the barrier for? Well, I suppose it always was a long shot. Foolish of us to think a myth would succeed where our greatest doctors failed. His Majesty's madness is without cure.
I'd remind you that we were not burdened with choice. This is the only way to fulfill our vows while the God King's bloodthirst blinds him to his loyal servants. The Transcendent is our last hope.
And one we followed so very far from the royal palace.
What, do you fear the verdant flora? Those exiles don't have the strength or courage to attack us here. Besides, the latest reports say they're at each other's throats.
The rot runs deeper than that. Just think of the other knights. How many of them can we trust after Adelaide's tender nothings? We can't even deploy them to the field, tasked as they are with the imprisonment of a royal knight. What a hideous mess.
The God King demanded it. Do you think this situation pleases me? None of us imagined it would come to this. And that's setting aside his plan to launch a war on every possible front. The man we pledged our loyalty to never would have considered that. The very thought would have sickened him.
He's mad. What else need we say? Alas, a knight fulfills their oaths no matter the end. Eh?
That's why we cannot lose hope. If His Majesty is simply sick, then curing his illness will heal his mind. All will be well again.
Assuming the palace hasn't already discovered his absence. But yes, here we stand, playing out this farce as our parts demand.
Nothing left but to try the doors. They're solid. We won't be able to force our way inside.
Oh, the gardener claimed there was a lock. I don't see a keyhole. It must open by some other means. Surely the girl has a way to get inside.
I doubt it. She knew less than we do.
The palace servants must love you. Tell me, do you ever get the truth from them by asking politely?
It depends on the question.
Ah, my prince! Welcome. These are the doors to the Transcendence altar. Locked, unfortunately. I was just about to have them opened. What? I'm certain they were locked a moment ago.
Shall we?
The gardener was right. There's nothing here. I don't sense any magic either.
Oh, we're in for a hell of a reception if we return to the palace empty-handed.
Then what now? Do we stand vigil as the God King's madness consumes him?
There must be something here.
Look, the corner of the altar.
Pictographs?
That counts as something.
Have you seen anything like this before?
Oh, yes. The high families once used symbols like these to conceal their secrets. You might consider them a kind of map or cryptogram. They usually point to priceless heirlooms or dangerous spells, but here...
Yes, they may lead us to the Transcendent.
Oh, they must. Why else would they be left upon the altar? The question is, what do these symbols represent exactly? They could be landmarks or even people who once lived here. We'll need to search the grounds if we want to decipher the code.
And we'll have to do it before the royal palace figures out where we've gone.
Fortunate, then, that we have someone who knows every inch of this place like the back of her dirt-covered hand.
You mean the gardener?
I see no one of higher station available, so yes, she'll have to do. What do you say, Your Highness?
Proceed as you see fit.
Excellent. Let's find her. is this?
My prince, please step away from His Majesty.
What did you do to the God King, girl?
That was the God King? And Aaron's... prince? Then that monster... is his father?
How did His Majesty escape the guest house?
He must have slipped out while we were searching the grounds. My prince, are you well? Why risk yourself for this commoner?
She's seen the God King, and what he's become. I applaud your mercy, Highness, but now... we have a problem that might have solved itself.
Are you suggesting...
Come now. Hers wouldn't be the first blood spilled to preserve a secret, let alone this secret.
We still need her knowledge. We haven't deciphered the final symbol yet.
Very well. Confine her to the guest house for now. And once we're done here...
We'll deal with her, as we did the assembly. So be it.
I wonder... Ever since His Majesty succumbed to his condition, he's possessed a profound sensitivity to magic. I did not expect for any to linger here in the absence of the Transcendent. You must redouble your efforts to secure the God King before he returns to the garden.
My prince, we have but 2 nights. Your caution is admirable, but why concern yourself with the safety of plants?
Edvar, don't you find it odd that of all the flowers here, only these have lost their light? The gardener certainly wouldn't have left them in neglect. His Majesty must have caused them to wither. He fed upon them.
Then, you believe the plants contain magic?
The truth is often elegant in its simplicity.
But is that even possible?
Extend your senses. The power is faint, but it is there. I can feel it. That explains the glow, of course. But there must be a deeper reason.
It's a problem, if nothing else. Until we crack the code, we're surrounded by a minefield of madness. The more magic His Majesty consumes, the worse his condition will become.
You'll need to quarantine him then. Move him into the farthest structure from the garden and erect an anti-magic barrier. See to it. You're awake. Good. We have much to discuss.
What's happened to the garden and the flowers?
No need to worry. A few were pruned, but the rest still thrive.
Thank goodness.
You are an odd one. Attacked by a monstrosity, confined in a cage, and your first thought is for your flowers.
It may seem strange to a prince, but I promise to protect the garden with my life.
And why is that, precisely? What is so important about this garden that you would die for it?
Tell me, Prince, how many children endure this life alone? Across this world of grandeur, where war never ends. My first memories are of hunger. The older I grew, the hungrier I became. And the more I saw others, like myself, adrift, suffering, starving for hope. Until, call it fate, call it grace, monks from the sanctum of Sefirot found me and decided to salvage a weed from her gutter. True to their calling, they gave me a chance to bloom. More than that, they gave me a name and a family. Life at the sanctum was strict, but safe. Beneath their austerity, the monks were kind. I had a home. I had hope. I knew what they sacrificed to take me in. They could barely feed themselves. I wanted to earn my keep, to show them that they hadn't made a mistake. The heart of Sefirot is its garden. The monks spent all the time they could spare there, tending to its plants. They believed that so long as it flourished, the transcendent of life would someday return. A living garden teems with life, they told me, just as the transcendent desires. So, I became the sanctum's gardener to help their hopes grow. It may seem simple to you, but that's how we lived. Until the day the monks vanished. Gone. Without a trace. As if they'd never existed. It took me days to accept that it was real. The monks in the sanctum were all I had. I was alone again. An orphan once more. But I was still alive. I could still care for the garden. The garden teems with life. So long as it flourishes, the transcendent will return. Besides, tending to the plants makes me feel less alone. Maybe when the transcendent comes back, the monks will too. Until then, I'll be here for as long as I can. To prepare the way for the transcendent, to keep the faith, to see my family again. Everything I love, everything I live for is here.
You truly believe this sanctum is worth your life?
If it comes to that, absolutely.
Listen to me carefully. Death comes for you tonight. My comrades are going to murder you.
Why? Because of what I saw? With you and the God King?
Yes. We came here seeking the transcendent of life's power, hoping it would cure my father. Our people can never know that their God King is a lunatic. Nor can his knights, nor the Assembly. Well, the portion of the Assembly that survives, I should say. All those who learned our secret took it to their graves.
But you still need my help to solve the last clue, right? They wouldn't...
I've already solved it.
Huh?
This is not the end. Rely on your own strength to find the final key. And the statue was pointing to the garden. There's a reason the monks believed that the garden would bring the transcendent back. The plants are the key. Their magic will open the final gate.
And you'll sacrifice the plants? answer. For so long, I've tended the garden. I never even realized. I was right to be here. All those years alone, they were worth it. Will you kill me now?
Honestly, I'd rather not. You are a singular individual. Odd, yes, but fascinating. Please, leave this sanctum. I'll tell my knights that I slew you with my own hand. They'll consider it quite the honor for a commoner. You must know a way to depart this place quietly. Never breathe a word of what you've seen here. Go. Start a new life. I've unlocked your cage and your shackles. You'll likely hear some commotion outside. Simply sneak out once it's died. Farewell, and good luck to you.
The God King's quarantine is secure. Any progress on the final clue?
It's solved. Here, look for yourself. It says, only the beautiful sacrifice of a noble will draw his gaze.
Sacrifice?
Of a noble? Someone here has to die?
That's what it says. Someone of worthy blood. Some answers are too obvious to be seen, I suppose. Why would a transcendent bother with anyone short of a high flora? Harsh, but nature did not compose its laws with a merciful hand, and we can hardly turn back now, can we? We cannot conceal His Majesty's madness forever. Our absence has surely been noticed by now, so I'll leave it up to you. Which one of you will make the sacrifice for His Majesty?
What are you doing, Edvar?
Only one of us is noble enough for the sacrifice. A knight who's had His Majesty's favor since childhood. One who rose through the ranks to become a royal bodyguard.
Oh, you're far nobler than I, Edvar. Your family line has served the God King for generations. I'm hardly worthy to stand in your exalted shadow.
No transcendent wants my life. I wouldn't even be a knight if my family hadn't purchased the title. And the rules of chivalry never even took. I just stabbed my comrade in the back.
I have brothers and sisters at home. They'd all starve without me. I can't leave them.
So my wife and children should suffer so your family can live?
More pilgrims. Let's table this discussion for now. Obviously, we cannot permit anyone to see His Majesty. Go and greet them, would you?
Blue wings. How did the verdant flora get here?
Only 4 of them, and they don't look armed.
And the God King looks harmless enough beneath his cloak. Be ready.
What is your purpose here, exiles?
High Flora Knights, you are here, just as we were told.
Please, don't be alarmed. We come in peace. We humbly request an audience with the God King.
How do they know His Majesty is here? Who told them?
We'll figure that out later, after we deal with them. Ahem. Verdant Flora, why do you seek His Majesty?
Please, away with your blade. We have seen the folly of our ways, and the greatness of yours. We would like to make amends to His Majesty by pledging our services to him.
You wish to become High Flora once more.
If you had groveled from the start, you might have spared yourselves a war.
That is our deepest regret. Please, let us return to the path of enlightenment and serve the God King once again!
After all the Verdant Flora have lost, I wager they simply want their power back.
Look at these wretches, turning on their own kind simply to get back what they had. Well, it's to our gain. This is our chance.
Chance? What do you...
Exactly. The Verdant Flora were nobles before their disgrace. And by washing away that shame... Be welcome, strangers. Allow me to ask you but one question. Are you prepared to give your lives for His Majesty?
Of course. Our lives are his, from this day to our last.
Then in His Majesty's name, we thank you.
Wait, what are you doing?
But you pledged your lives. They belong to the God King now.
But why? You have nothing to gain from killing us here.
Oh, I assure you, we have everything to gain. All of us.
Where is His Majesty? Please, if you just let us see him...
What are you waiting for, Yule?
Don't struggle. I'll give you a clean death.
No!
Change of plans. We have to fight.
Against Knights of the Einherjar? Are you out of your mind?
Run for your lives!
왜 도망가시는 겁니까? 신혼님은 여기 계시는데 바로 여러분의 눈앞에.
Hold a moment, Yule. We need to consider our situation carefully. Are we sure that's the wisest course?
What? We have to restrain the God King before his condition worsens.
Why? He seems content enough to me devouring those verdant flora. It's a kindness, really. Saves us the trouble of chasing them down.
Are you suggesting that we just abandon His Majesty?
Can we really call that monster His Majesty? Surely you can see that the man we served is long dead. He can't even recognize his own child.
We are royal knights, Edvar. We don't choose when our vows end.
But suppose those verdant flora weren't noble enough. What then? He'd still need a sacrifice. You or me?
Then what would you have us do?
I would have us go home. Between the two of us, we can make the prince see reason. And if not, well, with a little flame to cover our tracks, nobody will be able to prove we were here. The God King can finish going mad in peace, and the verdant flora can take the blame for all of it. If you want to feed yourself to the God King in the name of honor, fine. I won't lose everything to a monster.
Your Majesty. Your Majesty, it's me! It's Yule, your protector! Oh, he's consumed the verdant floor's magic. He's worse than ever. I can't overpower him. Could I lure him back into quarantine? What? Fire! Oh, Edvar, you didn't!
With a little flame to cover our tracks, nobody will be able to prove we were here. The God King can finish going mad in peace, and the verdant flora can take the blame for all of it.
Coward! Wait. Oh no. The garden's plants, they're all burning. The God King's absorbing their magic from the air. Your Majesty, I'm sorry. You're beyond my ability to help. I won't die here. I can't. My family needs me. Your Majesty, please. It's me, Yule. You can't understand me anymore. You're nothing but a monster. I should have run when I had the chance. Please. I can't die here. I can't.
My prince? You're alive!
You sound disappointed.
Of course not. I'm relieved to find you well. But where were you? I've been looking all over.
I've been preoccupied with my search.
A search? What are you looking for?
Oh, but don't you know? A noble life. The most deserving. One worthy of standing before the Transcendent.
I would have us go home. Between the two of us, we can...
Instead, I found a harsh truth. We all consider our own lives to be the most precious. No one's truly willing to die for something greater.
I won't die here. I can't. My family needs me.
Well, of course. We all want to live.
Yes, but... Well, perhaps I expected too much. The truth is, none of you were ever worthy.
My prince, what are you saying? Your eyes. I've never seen a Flora's eyes glow like that, not even the God King's. No. Your Highness, are you the Transcendent of life?
When the balance of life is disrupted, a Transcendent is born. I've known my nature since long before the war began. I simply needed the bloodshed to become what I was always meant to be.
The God King's madness was the reason the war began. No, you couldn't have.
I had hoped my ascension would show me some redeeming facet in mortal hearts, some truth I had not seen before. But no. The ever-conceited High Flora, the self-proclaimed nobility of the verdant Flora, every one of you, all the same.
Please, please, don't kill me.
You think your life has value, Edvar, but I know your worth. Sleep well, my friend. Content yourself to die for the same sword you'd turn on others. Thank you for showing me the truth.
When I awoke, I saw nothing but devastation around me. The sanctum, the only home I'd ever known, burned to cinders. I forced myself up the ash-strewn path to the altar. The empty altar. The transcendent of life was gone. Still gone. And I had nothing left but prayer. A prayer to the only God I'd ever believed in.
드디어 발견했다.
왜 나를 살린 거죠?
이 성소에서 너만이 유일하게 가치 있는 생명이었으니까.